Robert Heffernan, EndoTech, exclusively for the Pareto Network and EndoTech subscribers. This is Blockchain Vitals, and it's our weekly segment. We do this Sunday nights. This is actually Monday morning in Asia. Good morning in Asia. And talk that weekly fractal, which is so important, especially as we're trying, most of us, lots of us, trying to tell that bull story. You saw the bull come by with the banner on the weekly. I think, it's like the craps table. It's mostly with players. Now, there's the occasional against player that shows up, and everybody boos and hisses at him. But trying to tell the story about a bullish situation forming technically. I am a technician. I like looking at the charts. I call them the chicken scratches. And, the price discovery paints a picture. Let's do the rounds before we talk pricing, though. Doing the rounds, we do it every day that I do a segment, talking things in the cryptosphere. It actually used, I think they used that word cryptosphere in a letter an article that I was reading, as especially in the US of A, the regulars are looking for, there's commodities. Everybody knows what a commodity is, right? There's equities, there's interest rate products, and there's a regulation around all of these different asset classes, and people know who you go to as far as the regulators are to file a complaint and such. And that still is being ironed out in the cryptosphere. But the news out is Ledger acts to add an Ethereum derivative, commodity-based futures contract based on the Ethereum contract, or Ethereum blockchain. The CBOE, which already has Bitcoin futures, looking to do the same and list Ethereum futures. And speaking of the craps table, the one thing that for sure does is allows the don't bet, and I talked about this at length last December before Bitcoin futures were launched, and I'll go back to the tape and show you. Not that I picked the top in Bitcoin, but I said you have to be wary of the don't bet. The ability for the don't bet to come in and actively be traded by large amounts of money, there is nothing like the power of a fairly even playing field on the with money or the against money. And it just so happened that the day that futures were launched at the CME was the day that Bitcoin notched its high, all-time high, and has traded south ever since. Now we have a nice congestion here. As we do the vitals here, I'm going to talk that weekly fractal, and the levels are real important, and it's real clear to me on the where do you want to be long and where do you know you're wrong side of things with that chart, especially on the weekly fractal. So we're going to take care of that in the vitals section. The other thing I noticed was an article about Coinbase, and I got little mixed feelings on this one. Anyway, they're coming out with a new listing process, which they claim should allow rapid listing of most digital assets, meaning that if your digital asset is not a blatantly flawed, a blatant scam. I was told that maybe since they have bought a broker-dealer, even if it becomes deemed a security, they will be within the regs to have it listed and traded on their platform. So listing a bunch more digital assets seems to be in the future at Coinbase. The thing that I didn't like out of Coinbase was the news that up to 20% of their volume was in-house volume, and as opposed to some place like Poloniex where only 1% of its volume was in-house, like supplying liquidity. And you never want the clearinghouse to be the one that is supplying liquidity. I can tell you that for sure, because the clearinghouse has the book, and there's nothing more unfair to the average investor than finding liquidity at a place that trades its own book. And that has been proven time and time again in many fiat world places, most notably in the FX world where it was rampant. They've cleaned that up a bit, but you don't want to see your clearinghouse be the one that is supplying liquidity. Believe me, you want the clearinghouse to match liquidity, buyers and sellers, not to be the other side of your trades. The other thing I want to talk about, and I need to talk about, because Bears notched their third win today, this Sunday, the 30th of September. And the prop bet, listen, there's trading, and that's fun. There's making money. There's losing money. That's fun. But, you know, you need a good prop bet to watch the whole Super Bowl. Like, who's going to win the coin toss, this, that, and the other thing. My prop bet is the Bears notch their 10th win of the season, or Bitcoin trades $15,000, which happens first. Now, the rest of the story I'm going to talk about in the vital section, but the Bears notching that 10th win actually look like it's a possibility to happen, where a month ago it was probably 10-1 against that could happen, as their over-under was right around 7 wins. So in 4 weeks, nearly halfway to covering the over. And the Bitcoin chart, although 15,000 for me is not in the cards this year, charts can change rapidly with rapid price discovery changes. So let's take the vitals. And in order to do that, you need to be an EndoTech subscriber or a Pareto Network token holder. And one last thing that I wanted to talk about, and I will continue talking about, is the eBot. It's already been released. This is old news, the official release from September 17th. Available at Kraken. And you can open an account at Kraken and go to EndoTech.io and enable the ET, the EndoTech bot, to trade your cryptocurrencies for you. Automated trading. And it doesn't get any easier than that, you know. And the beautiful thing about automated and auto trading is it doesn't sleep. It doesn't call in sick. It doesn't, you know, have emotional issues and doesn't show up for a week. The bot is on, ready to trade and ready to monitor your portfolio at Kraken. So please, if you have interest in the ET bot, go to support@endotech.io. You can email there. Or go to the site, endotech.io, and engage the support team available on the site and start the process, all right? Start the process of diversification into a Kraken portfolio powered by the ET bot. All right, I got to say goodbye to the YouTube crowd.